Welcome to the ArmaniTalks YouTube channel. I'm your host, ArmaniTalks. In this channel, I'm covering communication skills for you to level up your way with words and become much more articulate. In today's episode, we're entering the world of creativity, and we're going to be talking about how to build an empire. I Googled what the definition of an empire is, and a lot of the definitions are somewhat, whatever. But let me read it anyways. An extensive group of states or countries under a single supreme authority. Another one is a large commercial organization owned or controlled by one person or group. The reason that I don't really like these definitions too much is because it narrows your perspective a little too much. You think, I can't build an empire. As a matter of fact, whenever you think empire, what do you really think of? For a lot of individuals, the first thing that's going to come up is just the word Rome. Rome is going to come up, or Alexander the Great. Something very big, large. But what would you do if I told you that you can build an empire and all it's going to require is communication skills and a smart use of information technology? In the most recent Thanksgiving, I went home. And as I went home, I was on Netflix and I was choosing what to watch next. And as I was scrolling through all of the different options, eventually I saw Goosebumps. And as I saw Goosebumps, I was like, what is this, old movie of Goosebumps? No, it was rather new. The head actor was Jack Black. And this movie seemed like a remake, something that I wasn't imagining. Now, the reason that this caught my attention was because when I was a little kid, I liked Goosebumps. And there was a certain period where the books of Goosebumps turned into TV shows. But that's when I was a teenager. They're making movies on this now? And that's when I started to think. The creator of the Goosebumps series, RL Stine, he has an empire. If you ever Google RL Stine, he looks like a very feeble looking man. He doesn't look like a strong guy. He doesn't look like a warrior. But he had two things at his disposal that allowed him to build power. Communication skills, he knew how to tell stories, and information technology. He knew how to get those stories and put it into books. He started off with books, and eventually those books transformed into shows, and those shows transformed into a movie. All of that, I'm sure he's getting royalties from, and day by day, he's increasing his wealth. When thinking in terms of empires, here's a little word that you want to think of that you're not going to think is common sense at first. Spin-off. A spin-off is a remix to something. So initially, when RL Stine had the books, I doubt he knew that it was going to eventually be turned into shows and all of that stuff. He just like, let me focus on the books. Once he built a catalog, that is when either RL Stine or other people in his inner circle were coming up and they were like, hey man, did you ever think of having a spin-off and maybe creating a situation where a bunch of the horror characters that you created from the books are interacting with one another? Or what about a TV show? Or what about toys? And suddenly, with that perspective of spin-offs, what was initially an original product now becomes something entirely new. And this is exactly what the people in the past did as well. A lot of these emperors and the people that ruled kingdoms, they weren't just trying to conquer everything at once. Maybe they had that flash of insight for a certain period where they're like, I want all of it. But what they were really working for was a proof of concept. They wanted to see, okay, what works, what doesn't work. And if it works here, then I can replicate it. This was their version of a spin-off. And this is something that fast food owners do all the time. They get one store working. That's all you're in charge of. Once you get one store working, now you understand the processes that went into this particular store. Now you can do the whole franchising model and boom, you build your empire. The main thing that we want to take away is that when you're building an empire, it's not something that you will often know from the very beginning. It's just you're taking it one book at a time, one store at a time, one country at a time. And then once a proof of concept has been validated, that's when the imagination is like, I could actually repeat this, but I could do a little spin-off. And as I do a spin-off, I could repeat it over and over and over again. And as a few years goes on by, you're like, whoa, I have an empire of my own. This is one of the best times to create an empire because, our version of empires in this century, you just need two things: great communication skills and a strategic use of information technology. So if you enjoyed today's talk and you want to learn more about creativity, how to build your own empire, and how to use communication skills to build wealth, be sure to check out the ArmaniTalks free daily newsletter. In this newsletter, I'm dropping a new short story every single day, breaking down how to use soft skills to advance yourself in life. Check out the newsletter in the link in the description box, the pinned comment, or go on ArmaniTalks.com/newsletter and sign up today. Thank you very much for joining the Armani Talks YouTube channel, and I'll catch you next time.